Good morning, everybody. Welcome to EDNA. Everyone is here except for our clerk for some reason. Hope he hasn't had a problem because he said he was going to be here.
The other person that we need.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, yes.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Making a dramatic entrance, Representative Sytek. All right.
Your timing is sort of dramatic.
All right, we have 10 bills to exec today. Only one was noticed because I was hoping we'd get a few of the others taken care of last week, but the hearings ran over a bit. So the first one I'd like to do as a warm-up is CACR 1. And Representative Bailey, you have a motion. CACR 1. Okay. Representative Bailey moves inexpedient to legislate. Representative Schmidt seconds. Do you wish to speak to your motion, Representative Bailey?
No, I think it was well said.
Okay. Representative Schmidt?
Well, I said, yes, I do want it. I appreciate the motion of ITL, which is a motion I was prepared to make. And for those who are new to the committee this term, this is a bill that we have seen in ITL previously at least twice. And while I understand the sponsor's motivations and so forth, the bottom line is I think that the bill as written is not viable, not workable, but that we have a situation in the state where we have a structure in place to handle potential incapacitations or deaths of the governor that has worked for over 200 years, and we've had exactly one example of another governor dying in office. And I think the system that we have works admirably well, and I appreciate the ITL motion by the maker thereof. Thank you.
Anyone else have a comment? I'd like to say that our tradition of electing the governor every 2 years means that we're not stuck with a missing or incompetent governor. Well, not incompetent, excuse me, that's the wrong word.
Incapacitated?
Incapacitated, thank you, that's a better word, governor for very long. It's not that like the places where the governor serves for 4 or 6 years. It's a short period of time, and I think our constitutional protections are quite solid. Or anyone else? Representative Saatchi, you were going to say something? You were going to say something?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment, question? Okay, then the motion is inexpedient to legislate on CACR 1, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon,
Yes. And your microphone's off.
it's on.
No.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Yes.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Representative Grota.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Aye.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative DeVries.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes.
16-0 in ITL.
All right, the motion passes. Is there any objection to consent? All right, seeing none, we'll put that on consent. All right, so what else will be good? All right, House Bill 96 is, which one is that? What's that?
The energy code.
Oh, energy code, yes. Representative Grote, did you have a motion? No, I guess not. All right, since Representative Sheehan can't be here, I'll move ITL.
I'll second.
Okay, and I'd like to say that the subcommittee met on that, and going to the 2021 Energy Code, while the Building Code Review Board is working on reviewing the 2024 code, seems like a waste of effort on everybody's part. And from what I have heard, the 2024 code fixes a great many errors, oh, not errors, problems with the 21 code. So it is a more effective code in the first place. So the 21 code was considered and rejected by both the Building Code Review Board and the legislature last year. And I think going back to trying to adopt it on an interim level is a waste of time. Representative Land?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If the 2021 building energy code was all we had to look at right now, that would be one thing. But there's the 2024 energy code that's already being reviewed. You know, let's keep working and looking forward instead of trying to look backwards when we have another version that's already being reviewed. So that's why I'm voting ITL.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Representative Long?
So I want to say that I like the concept of this bill, but my constituents are very concerned about the cost of housing, especially right now. So I don't think it's the right time for it. I would vote for this bill at the right time, but I'm not going to today. I'll be voting for the ITL. I feel like the numbers that were supported or were offered by both sides were not really supported sufficiently. So I would like to see more information next time the bill comes around.
All right, thank you. Representative Sytek?
If I may follow up on Representative Long, because I was struck by the same point. I heard at one point 29,000, I heard at another point 2,000. If it were really 2,000, this would be on consent calendar. So I'd really like to see more data. And that's that. Thank you.
Okay, Representative Rees?
Yeah, I'll be voting against ITL today because I'm concerned that being so far behind the standard is going to cost New Hampshire some money. So if we don't get our energy code up to date, we miss the opportunity to unlock federal funding for New Hampshire. So our state's building codes are not aligned, which could mean that we would not be eligible for significant federal funding opportunities, including grants from the Inflation Reduction Act, Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and the Department of Energy programs. This bill would reduce energy costs for residents and businesses. It enhances our ability to, or rather helps us to strengthen climate resilience, and would help the construction industry and job market. So because we heard two different sets of data, I'm not sure that the higher number being offered by a lobbying entity is something that we should be relying upon. So I'm going to vote against ITL.
Thank you. Representative Sytek?
Wasn't that higher number that was offered by a lobbyist? Did a lobbyist say that came from Senator Shaheen? That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah. In any event, the testimony was that imposing this code would create an increasing cost of building. And there were debates over how much, but it was definitely an increase. Anyone else? Representative Grote?
Thank you. I'll support the ITL, but not because I don't like the policy about this bill, because I think that it's important to consider. However, I'm uncomfortable with the back and forth between the different testimonies that we had. And I'm also concerned about mandating something that we don't, as a committee, have the expertise to understand. So I know this bill will come back. And I plan on learning more about the costs of energy efficiency in homes. And I would encourage other members of the committee to do this as well.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing no further comments, the motion is inexpedient to legislate, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Lamb.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Flaci.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Grota.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
No.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
No.
Representative Howard.
No.
Representative DeVries.
Hard no.
I'll mark that hard. Representative Long
Yes.
and the chair.
Yes,
10 to 12 to 12 to 4.
okay, the motion passes 12-4. Does someone plan on writing a minority report? Representative DeVries will write a minority report. All right, in that case, it won't go on the consent calendar. Okay, yes,
I didn't say in my, if I can just add a postscript, I was very impressed with Mr. Gage and Mr. DeVries, if I've got, not DeVries, Bremis, I don't have it right. They are really ardent supporters, and I really want to hear more from them, I guess. So there I am.
excellent. As a side note, I want to mention to Representatives Howard and Leon that they still owe committee reports from last week. So for House Bill 210, the commission, Representative Howard. And you've got the minority report on the dietitian pact. Yes, while we're on administrative things, this is the last scheduled meeting for ED&A on House bills. Thank you all for plugging along. We have not yet received any Senate bills or any second committee bills, so I am not going to be scheduling anything for next week. Good job, guys. And we'll see what happens when we start getting the Senate bills and the second committee bills, if any. And committee reports are due in as soon as possible. They need to be in next week's calendar. If we can get them in today, great. If not, Monday, or I'm going to be nagging you. So moving right along, House Bill 161, Representative Land.
Yes, I move ITL on House Bill 161.
I'll second.
Okay, do you wish to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I think that one of the things that was highlighted in the testimony is that there's still a lot of disagreement within the community, but that the largest glaring issue is that right now the membership is not filled in the commission. We were told of the 5 vacant seats, but there are also 4 additional terms that have expired, some that expired just a week ago. So right now, there are only 2 governor-appointed members of the commission, and then the 4 that are appointed otherwise, giving them a membership of 6. With the bill that we passed last year to allow a quorum to be 50% plus 1, right now a quorum of the Native American Affairs Commission is only 4 members. and that could override those who were appointed because of their native heritage. To me, that brings a pretty troubling concern about its viability, especially as I reviewed the annual reports. And the only time that the commission was fully filled was when it was first created in 2010. Additionally, there are more annual reports missing than are published, and the most recent was 2022. I'm an ITL on this bill, and I strongly want to encourage both the governor to nominate people to the commission and for those involved to determine the necessity of the commission going forward, because unless there's some changes and improvements, I'm not sure how much it benefits the state. And I might look to repeal the commission next year because it doesn't seem to be functional and is drawing their attention away from the internal affairs and their relationship with other bands, other tribes in the federal government in order to try and deal with some New Hampshire created bureaucracy. So I'm hopeful that they'll be able to have people named to the commission, that this will move forward and it'll start working in a good and effective way. But if we don't see otherwise, I'd be apt to look to end it next year if we don't see progress.
Representative Broda, do you wish to speak to your second?
No, thank you.
Representative Sitek.
This bill, more than almost any others, caused me to reflect on our job as representatives. For me, I have no interest in this issue, but I took an oath and I got on this committee, so I have to take this issue seriously, as seriously as the people proposing it. And I prepared the minutes for this. It's a nightmare to try to figure out. If I were emperor of the world, I wouldn't know quite what to do. And so something has to be done. But I don't know what that something is. And it's a challenge. Thank you for listening.
Representative Schmidt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I appreciate Representative Sitek's remarks because I am also very troubled by the situation, and Representative Leon's remarks also are very pertinent. We've heard allegations about why they can't get a membership so they could have an ordinarily functioning commission with a quorum that shows up and so forth. And we've heard allegations about why there haven't been appointments and so forth and so on. But as it is, we're left in a situation where this committee would have to make decisions with regard to a culture which we have next to no familiarity with. I know a whole handful of people who turned out to be indigenous. I never knew, because they don't look any different than us. And so the question of how their culture and how these administrative affairs that we get confronted with over and over again, how those are to be understood and to be appropriately legislated. But without it, I'm not going to vote on a bill that I have no sense of certainty about what we're doing. So I also strongly support the ITL.
Representative Sitek.
If footnote to Representative Schmidt, about not recognizing some people as indigenous, one of the testifiers was a fellow teacher at Salem High. Amazing. I never knew.
Yeah. As the sponsor of this bill, I was expecting some opposition, but I was really shocked by the amount of conflict within the Native American community in New Hampshire. And I had a report from one of them that the issues are from the time of King Philip's War in the 1700s. Well, we're not going to solve that by any easy manner. And then we got a letter from the Abenaki Council in Quebec, which is the center of the nation. And they're concerned, and they're also very concerned with the Vermont state recognition. They believe that process was incorrect. And at that point, if it's between the Abenaki Nation and the state of Vermont and the state of New Hampshire, I don't want to get in the middle of this. I think that is definitely above our pay grade. We ought to let the parties involved deal with it themselves and I mean, a commission's not gonna make a big deal either way, but I think we ought to say the issues are beyond our scope. Anyone else? All right, thank you. The motion is inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 161. Clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon,
Yes.
clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson,
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Wasn't sure which one it would be. Representative Osborne,
Yes.
Representative Sellers,
Yes.
Representative Slechy,
Yes.
Representative Tebow,
Yes.
Representative Grote,
Yes.
Representative Schmidt,
Yes.
Representative Davis,
Yes.
Representative Dargy,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Tiveries,
Yes.
Representative Long,
Yes.
and the chair.
Yes.
Sounds like 16-0.
Okay, is there any objection to consent? All right, seeing none, we'll put that one on consent. All right, looking at who's here, I think we'll move on to House Bill 428. Representative Leon?
Yes, do we have that amendment?
Yes, I think so. We were given it some time ago. I gave mine to,
I believe this is the amendment, that addresses the administrative.
Yes.
issue. Okay.
all right, if someone who can find the amendment we were given some time ago. This is the one that Representative Sheehan passed out and was asked to consider for a bit longer. Right,
Sorry, I thought it was coming today. I didn't realize.
sorry about that.
Yes, one?
And I gave mine to Representative DeVries.
Excuse me, what number is this again? What number is this again?
That's what we're trying to find out because I don't have.
It's House Bill 428.
Okay, thank you.
And Representative Sheehan had an amendment, which she presented. I believe you were at that executive, and we decided to set it aside because, do you have the amendment?
I'm sure that I do.
Okay, great. Could you
I don't
just give
keep
us
this
the,
much paper around for nothing.
all right, we'll see if you can find that number.
Mr. Sherman, do you, I gave you my copy. Can you give us the amendment number?
That 328H? Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
328H. Okay, thank you. Somebody's found it.
328H.
All right.
We're missing a digit.
032.
0.
All right, that's moved by Representative Leon. I'll second. And I would like to ask Mr. Sherman, who's the chair of the Building Code Review Board, to explain to us why we need municipal amendments at all.
Question of the chair.
Yes, sir.
Would it be possible that we could recess this momentarily so that we can get at it with a little bit more time to pull
Yes.
our act together?
I would like to have Mr. Sherman explain why we need them first while everybody
I'm happy
digs-
with that.
digs through their piles of papers to find the amendment.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, I came here today to listen, so here we are. The bill proper proposes to eliminate all local amendments to the state building code. This amendment does a couple of things. It maintains the ability for municipalities to do administrative amendments. And by that, I mean, if you've been into the model codes, it's essentially chapter 1 stuff. So it's how do you get a permit? How do you deal with inspections? How do you deal with certificates of occupancy, fee schedules, those kinds of things. Currently, the way we adopt the building codes, the language in the model codes is co-equal to any other language in statute, according to DOJ. So that gives us the need to be able to modify some of this stuff where, you know, a city of Manchester operates their processes differently than some small town. Administrative should not impact how the building itself is constructed. We're referring to those as technical amendments. So administrative is paperwork, process, those kinds of things, and we've tried to define that in here. Whereas technical, as with the base bill, would still be prohibited. The second thing this does is that HB 241, which is I think going to a longer term study, attempts to take the various places that the state building code is addressed and get it all into 155A. A lot of these tentacles still reside in RSA 674 and other land use chapters. And it's very confusing, as I understand it, to the people out there enforcing things, because many of them enforce both land use and building codes. So we're just trying to take some of the old language that's been there for a long, long time and get it into 155A. On the issues that are involved with municipal amendments, and specifically 674-51, this amendment just gets them over into 155A, so we don't have to change them once and then turn around and change it again probably next year to get them into the right spot. So there's a fair amount of ink in here, but much of it is simply language that's in 674-51 now. We've brought it in, eliminated some duplication, cleaned up some terminology so that everybody's using the same words. But primarily, this is intended to permit these administrative amendments, which I think personally are necessary to operate.
Okay, Representative Rees?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in reading this amendment, I want to make sure that I'm firmly understanding this with the distinction between the technical and administrative. So sorry, I'm not well. The technical changes, this would bar municipalities, make sure I'm understanding this, bar municipalities from setting a higher standard on the building code, a technical standard. For example, another foot of freeboard or another 2 feet of freeboard. Is that correct?
That's the intent of the base bill, and this amendment doesn't change that intent. So yes.
Okay, so it would actually, follow
Follow
up,
up.
Madam Chair. It would actually take away the right of municipalities to set higher standards than the building code. Is that correct?
That's the intent of the base bill, yes.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions for Mr. Sherman? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for that information. I wasn't sure why we needed them until you explained that the building code had things like fees and permit procedures, which are obviously going to vary between, say, Manchester and Epsom. Any other comments? President Slotchie, you're just getting ready?
Just getting ready, yeah. Code like a spring.
Okay. Yes, madam.
No, I'm just holding the stopwatch waiting.
I'm so glad you're having a good time, gentlemen. Anyone else, comments, questions? All right. Just for ease of discussion, I encourage you to support the amendment, even if you don't support the concept of the bill, because this does not change the concept of the bill. It simply makes it feasible for the administrative items. Representative Broder?
Yes, I support the amendment. I will not support the bill, but I do appreciate the work that was done on the amendment, and I thank you.
So I'll second.
Okay.
I
thank
take
you.
it that was a motion to,
No,
adopt
the
the-
motion was made by Representative Leon and seconded by me,
oh,
but we haven't voted on
how
it yet.
quickly we forget.
Okay. Any further comments, questions, discussion? Representative Sytek?
In a brief part of my career, I actually built some houses, and we were very fortunate that we had good inspectors, but it wasn't hard to see how the code could be weaponized. And I think the practicalities of this are important, that I don't want to see there's a sense that the towns are going to be even better than the state code, and I believe the state code is plenty good enough. That's my experience. Thank you.
Representative Long?
So this is another bill where my constituents concerned about housing costs is my overriding concern in determining my vote. So I will be voting for the bill. I will vote for the amendment. But I do think that municipal governments have tended to abuse the powers that they've had, and take away the freedoms of their citizens, and that has resulted in it being very hard to find an affordable place to live these days.
Yes. Yeah, and the point that so many people eager for advanced housing or extremely efficient buildings or whatever forget is that the state building code is the minimum. It is not a stretch code. It is the minimum for safety required to build in the state, and that's why I'm concerned about municipal amendments, besides the fact that, as Representative Long said, they're subject to abuse. Particularly before we instituted a requirement that municipal amendments be formally adopted, there were many, many cases of individual building inspectors making up the rules as they went along. Not all of them, but it happened enough that we heard about it from many people. And if they're having a basic statewide building code should prevent that from happening in the future. Anybody else? All right, not seeing anybody. The motion is to adopt Amendment 0328 to House Bill 428. Representative Sysak?
Who made the motion? Was it Leon? You-
Representative Bland made the motion,
you
I seconded it.
Okay.
And you can call the roll now
Okay.
that you're ready.
I am ready. Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
The clerk was yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Grote.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative Rees.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
The chair.
Yes.
On the amendment, 16-0.
All right, the amendment passes. Representative Leon?
Yes, I move ought to pass as amended by the amendment we just adopted, 328H.
Okay, is there a second? Thank you. Okay. All right, so now that we've made the bill feasible, is there any discussion? Representative Leon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it is very crucial to understand that these are the bare minimums that allow people to have housing that is safe and allows them to live. And that these also apply when you have renovations as well. So I want to ensure that we aren't having people in the Granite State who are afraid to make necessary improvements just because it moves them past that point where they need to have code updates. And I'd rather have them improve their home as necessary in a way that they can afford and that they can work with without having the quagmire of having a hard time finding a builder because they don't want to deal with their town because their town hasn't been transparent about what changes are made. As it is, it's hard to find somebody to work with, it's hard to find the right person because there's so many different styles. And if you're excluding people that don't want to work with a difficult town, that becomes even more difficult and more expensive for the people that we represent. So I believe that this is important to have consistency among the state. And when I do build an early adopter, a lot of these innovations, I'm sure I'll be going above and beyond, but I'm not going to force my neighbor who's choosing between doing an important renovation to replace things and keep things safe and putting food on the table.
Representative Sellers, do you wish to speak to your motion or your second?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Clerk. The point I wanted to drive was if you had multiple codes you had to follow, it's going to drive housing up, especially in specific towns or cities. And if I was a builder, I'd have to automatically know, saying, oh, if I go to Manchester, it's going to cost me $20,000 more to build this house. So I'm going to up my price automatically just because I have to follow a different building code. I think it's just, it's going to drive the price of housing up if we have multiple codes to follow.
Thank you. Anyone else? Representative DeVries.
Yeah, I think I have to go in on local control here. This bill, this sets a minimum, and what it is doing is saying that municipalities cannot then add to that. So the provisions that my town takes in adding to requirements for our building code, if this passes, is going to go away. So our town, my town, has a severe flooding problem. And so we have a requirement that an extra foot of freeboard needs to be added. That is not adding significantly to people's housing costs. That is not the core of our affordable housing problem. What it does is it helps to protect the people who are building new homes to ensure that those properties are sustainable for a longer period of time and their asset is protected. So I am absolutely for setting minimums. That's great. But the provision as part of this amendment, as part of this bill, that municipalities cannot add to that, and in order to add to it, they've got to get the permission of their voters, my understanding. But that they cannot add to that is problematic because it takes away the right of municipalities to set requirements that respond to local conditions. So for that reason, I'll be voting against this.
You, Representative Leon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to say that I do believe in local control. And a lot of that local control comes to somebody looking at their situation, looking and having the education, which still can be provided to have the education that perhaps you should have more freeboard to protect against flooding. But I'm looking at those households and those individuals that are making these choices, and not, say, the 1,900 people out of a 35,000 person town that showed up to vote yesterday. Because local control works when people are locally involved. And I believe in the ultimate local control, which is our citizens.
Okay. Representative DeVries, one rebuttal.
Thank you. This is taking away local control, absolutely, and I just want to make sure that I'm crystal clear about that.
Okay, it is. Anybody else want to make a comment? All right. The motion is ought to pass with amendment by Representative Leon, and the clerk call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Groda.
No,
I'm sorry, say again, please.
no,
Representative Schmidt.
No.
Representative Davis.
No.
Representative Dargy.
No.
Representative Howard.
No.
Representative DeVries.
No,
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair?
Yes.
Okay, 2, 4, 6, 10 to 6.
Okay, the motion passes 10-6. This will not go on consent. Is someone writing a minority report?
yes, someone will. I'm not sure who.
Okay. We'll
The
assign
clerk-
Representative DeVries for the moment, if that's okay.
Unless otherwise changed, the clerk would like to pencil in you, and you can change that if you like, but I need something.
thank you. I'm sure our ranking member can find somebody better.
I'm sure you can get help. No question about it. All right, that's that one. Okay, moving on to something a little less contentious. Representative Schmidt, you have a motion on House Bill 192?
I do, Madam Chair. There's an amendment, as you know, so I move ought to pass on the amendment, which is 0587H.
Adopt.
Okay, I'll second that. Okay, do you wish to speak to your motion?
Yes, so for those of you who are new this time around. This deals with the Joint Committee on Employee Classification, on which I serve along with Representative Sytek. For many years, we served on this committee, which is a ministerial committee. And the amendment deals with an oversight in the adoption of the updated rules for this term. So as you will see, line 4 adds in the Deputy Director of Medical Services at salary rate level GG, and somebody in the Department of Corrections. So that's the whole purpose is to correct that omission.
Okay. Seconder, I'll just mention that this is the normal process for these positions. Their salary grade is reviewed by an outside by an outside expert. The Joint Committee on Employee Classification reviews and approves it, and then there's a bill. And this is the bill. Anyone else have a question, comment, concern?
Just, if I
Representative
just may add in, so our EDNA's role in this is to approve the language of the action that the JCEC has taken previously. JCEC is the executive body, and our role is to actually put it into the statute, and it moves on to finance where they approve the funding thereof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sytek?
Representative Rees might like to know that we retain local control over that. We don't always follow the recommendation of Hay, Corn Ferry and their golf tournament. So I just want you to know that.
Okay, anyone else? All right, the motion is to adopt Amendment 0587 to House Bill 192, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Rhoda.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Aye.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative Rees.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes,
Grand slam.
okay. Representative Schmidt, is
I move ought to pass with amendment.
there a second?
I'll
Sec-
second it.
Thank you. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
I think we said it all.
Okay, Representative Pearson?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment, question, concern? Okay. The motion is off to pass with amendment on House Bill 192, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Rhoda.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative Rees.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes.
16-0.
Okay, the motion passes 16-0. Any objections to consent? Nope. Okay, that one will go on consent also. House Bill 271, Representative Grota?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move ought to pass on Amendment 0495H for House Bill 271.
And I'll second. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
Yes, so there was a concern between the licensing, the board and the association, the Social Workers Association. And the differences were resolved in the subcommittee. And it asks the board to come to design a test that is appropriate for an associate social worker, and that is how the amendment was crafted.
Okay. And I'd like to mention that the testimony showed that the test that was originally required was not relevant to the duties of the social work associates, and therefore only one person had bothered to take the test. I'm not sure we need to have a licensed social work associate, but if we do, we need to make sure the qualifications are actually relevant to the job, and this will make it so. Anyone else?
Thank you, Madam,
Representative Schmidt?
thank you, Madam Chair. So, and the bottom line here is not only what the chair just said, but also the fact that the pay for this job is not commensurate with the difficulty in jumping through all the hoops. And net effect is they're very short on actual worker bees. So this should open the door to a more reasonable pool of people willing to do the job for the pay offered. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Representative Saitek.
Experience again. I have a daughter who is an APRN, and she passed all the tests, but they were minimum requirements. The real education started when we added to the code, and she was on the floor. That's where it really happened. But without the groundwork, it would not have been effective.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. The motion is to accept Amendment 0495H to House Bill 271. Clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Salachi.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Groda.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative DeVries.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes.
16-0 on the adoption of the amendment.
Okay. Representative Grotta.
Yes, thank you. I move auto pass with amendment for House Bill 271.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Representative Grotta, second by Representative Schmidt. And any further discussion?
No, thank you.
Representative Leon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will echo your question as to whether the licensed social work associate is necessary, but we definitely don't need to have additional hurdles if anybody does think that that's a necessary role.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right, those in favor? The clerk will call the roll.
Okay, on it, ought to pass this with amendment. Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
The chair, the clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Salachi.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Groda.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative DeVries.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes.
16-0 ought to pass with amendment.
Okay. Motion passes 16-0. Any objections to consent? All right, seeing none, we'll put that on consent. And while we're so agreeable, on House Bill 214, I move amendment number 0845.
Second.
Adoption.
Adoption of amendment 0845. And I'll just say that this is the language on criminal record checks that has been suggested by the Department of Safety as meeting the requirements, and it makes them happy since they have to do the work. I'm I think we ought to make them happy, and that's all this amendment does, is revise the language on how to get a record check. Representative Lamb?
Don't need to say anything. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment, question on the amendment? Seeing none? All right, the clerk can call the roll on the amendment.
Okay, motion is to adopt 80845 on HB 214. Vice Chairman Leon,
Yes.
clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson,
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Not too late for a yes, you know. Representative Osborne,
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie,
Yes.
Representative Tebow,
Yes.
Representative Grote,
Yes.
Representative Schmidt,
Yes.
Representative Davis,
Yes.
Representative Dargy,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative DeVries.
Yes.
Representative Long,
Yes.
and the chair.
Yes.
Another 16-0 on adoption of the amendment.
All right, thank you. And I'll move ought to pass with amendment on House Bill 214.
Second.
And I spoke too quickly on House Bill 82. This is also still cleanup of the regulatory authority of the OPLC versus the boards. It makes some minor comments and clarifies the rulemaking and takes care of the criminal record checks to the proper language. Other than clarifying that the criminal records check is needed, it is not a change in scope. It's a more statutory cleanup. And if anyone has a question, Representative Lamb?
Don't need to add anything.
Okay. Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay, not seeing any. The motion is ought to pass with amendment on House Bill 214, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon,
Yes.
clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson,
Yes.
Representative Bailey,
Aye.
Representative Osborne,
Yes.
Representative Sellers,
Yes.
Representative Slotchie,
Yes.
Representative Tebow,
Yes.
Representative Grote,
Yes.
Representative Schmidt,
Yes.
Representative Davis,
Yes.
Representative Dargy,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative DeVries.
Yes.
Representative Long,
Yes.
and the chair.
Yes.
And that's 16-0.
Okay, motion passes. Any objections to consent? Okay, seeing none, that'll be on consent. Excellent. All right. House Bill 694, Representative Leon.
Thank you. I move motion to adopt Amendment 2025-0889H to House Bill 694.
Okay. Is there a second? Thank you. All right, do you wish to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. What this amendment does is instead of the original bill looking at any lease with the subdivisions, this one only deals with political subdivisions and leases with the state. This is a small bite at the apple, but this is something that'll address the largest issues that we saw around the prices charged to use courtrooms and other municipal land. I think that this is a good way to get good clarity and make sure that one group of taxpayers isn't subsidizing another in one direction or the other, and so I'd urge adoption.
All right, Representative Bailey? Nothing to add. All right. Any comments, questions about the amendment? I'd like to say that we were concerned that the state was attempting to more or less bully the political subdivisions during the lease negotiations. And this will give them a bit more, I don't know, more standing to say what the fair price for renting a building is. A lot of these are extremely unique. I mean, how many people want to rent a courthouse? But if you start with the concept that it's a fair market rate, then at least and utilities and custodial services and so forth are in addition to the basic rate. That'll keep the counties and cities from being forced to subsidize the state. And I think that's an important issue. Anyone else? Representative Broda?
Yes, I have a note that there was a drafting error on the bill, but I noticed that the reference to the RSA was eliminated in the amendment. And is that
So
because
this is the drafting error?
yeah, that was the drafting error, but because it was eliminated, I'm thinking it was eliminated because we changed the scope of the bill.
We changed the scope of the bill to only deal with leases between the state and a political subdivision. The original bill had all leases from the state, and we didn't think we needed to protect the private landlords for that.
Okay, thank you.
From what I've heard from various state officials, the private landlords do a fine job of negotiating profitable rates with the state, so. Okay. That's their business after all. Representative Dargy.
One other change on the bill was that, with the amendment, is that it goes both ways. It's not just the state and the political subdivision, it goes both ways. So if subdivision owns a property and the state's leasing it, it's okay. Or if the state has a property and the political subdivision leasing it, it's the same deal. It's both at market rates.
Thank you for that clarification. It's important. Okay, any other comments, questions? All right, the motion is to adopt Amendment 0889H, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slattery.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Groden.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative Rees.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
The chair.
Yes,
We have a 16-0 on the adoption
right.
of the amendment.
Representative Leon.
Yes, I move ought to pass on House Bill 694 as amended by Amendment 0889H.
With amendment 0889H.
With amendment
Sorry.
0889H. Thank you.
All right, is there a second? Thank you. All right, any further comments, questions, concerns? All right, seeing none, the motion is ought to pass with amendment on House Bill 694, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slattery.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Grota.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative Rees.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes,
16-0.
all right, motion passes. Any objections to consent? All right, seeing none, that will be on consent. Okay, House Bill 252, Representative Slattery. You have a motion.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to motion ITL, please.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, okay. Do you wish to speak to your motion?
No, thanks.
Representative Lamb?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. There's the issue around how many holidays do we recognize as a state? As we add more and more, we sort of dilute the power of each. And any history teacher in the state should be well aware of Daniel Webster and already including them robustly in the education. And therefore, while I appreciate bringing more attention to Daniel Webster, I also recognize that this should already be happening, and adding an additional day is not going to meaningfully increase recognition.
Representative Brother?
It's been the tradition of this committee not to support special holidays because the state doesn't have a method by which to enact what we ask them to do. And until there is such a mechanism, we should continue the tradition and the protocol for the division for the committee. And I apologize to you, Representative Thibault.
Yeah. Representative Tebow?
I just wanted to say I appreciate the committee's concerns. I will be voting against ITL because Daniel Webster was from Franklin, and I want to pay respect to him. But I do think that there are better ways out there to appreciate New Hampshire history, and I look forward to working in the legislature to celebrate those in the future.
Okay, Representative Schmidt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Representative, Daniel Webster is unforgotten, and those who bump into his statue unknowingly down in front of the State House will look up and say, "Who's that guy?" In the case of people who maybe will be forgotten in another 100 years, if there's cause to want to remember them, it's this committee's position that the proclamation by the governor is more likely to attract some attention in that particular era, as we did with Granny D, for example, who was a really outstanding citizen, but in 100 years she may be forgotten, unfortunately. So to the degree that that would be the case with Daniel Webster, I would think we would all be very surprised, since he's also got a portrait up in the front of the Reps Hall. So that's the reason we don't go for this kind of bill in this committee. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to expound on that, because we have found that if a person or a town or an organization bestirs itself to want to create a special day, they celebrate it. They get the governor to announce that day, and they perform the whatever appropriate actions are required, whether it's in the school or the town, or putting up a statue of Pollyanna. I mean, whatever, they're involved. But once it gets into statute, it's forgotten. The governor issues a proclamation that nobody is waiting for, and nobody does much of anything. We've had the occasion of holding a hearing on February 14th one year, and someone wanted a special day. I forget exactly what event it was, and I asked her, "Do you know what today is?" And, well, of course, it's Valentine's Day. No, it's the state holiday of Congenital Heart Disease Day. And everybody's, "Oh, wow." No one knew that, because it had been lobbied for and people had pushed for it, and it was placed into statute, and that was it. So I'm very much against establishing holidays in statute. Representative Saito?
Madam Chair, did you say bestirred themselves? I'm going to have to go to my Webster's on that one.
We always have some vocabulary lessons in every exec session.
Indeed. A couple things. First, as I understand, the choice of date was right after Martin Luther King Day, wasn't it?
That wasn't the intent. That just happens to be his birthday.
okay, I think that that tends to be in the penumbra of Martin Luther King. I'd like to vote for it, but here's the deal. He's conspicuous by his absence. I mean, if we're going to do this for the other people, the forebears of our state, we ought to include him. But no, not. I don't know. I may weaken at some point, but that's my thinking.
Yes, and I would have to say that any history teacher that didn't know about Daniel Webster probably shouldn't be teaching New Hampshire history. Any other comments, questions? Representative Bailey?
Was it just a grotesque coincidence that Congenital Heart Disease Day is the same as Valentine's Day?
No, I believe that was deliberate, but that was put into statute before I was here.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, the motion is inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 252, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon,
Yes.
and as another rep might say, a soft no, a soft yes. Sorry, Representative Pearson,
Yes.
Representative Bailey,
Aye.
Representative Osborne,
Yes.
Representative Sellers,
Yes.
Representative Slotchy.
Medium yes.
We're getting soft. Yeah. Representative Tebow,
No.
Representative Groda.
No, I mean, yes, 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 please. It's a yes.
Was that a hard or a soft?
It was a
all right.
definite yes.
Representative Schmidt,
Yes.
Representative Davis,
No.
Representative Dargy,
Yes.
Representative Howard.
I'm gonna have to go with another soft yes. I mean,
I know how it feels. Representative DeVries.
For clarification, this is an ITL motion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a no.
Representative Long.
I'll complete the set and go with a soft no.
Soft no. And the chair.
Yes.
12-4.
All right, the motion passes 12-4. Will someone be writing a minority report? What? Yes? No, okay. Anyone else?
Madam Chair, I have a question then. Is this going to get floor fought? Are we gonna fight this on the floor?
Well, that's why I'm doing the questions in order. The first question is there going to be a minority report? If there is, it is definitely going to be on the regular calendar.
Right, and I think that's something that we should probably think about right now. Are we going to actually floor fight this? Because if we're not, it should just probably go on consent.
If I can make a comment, I think that really is up to the 4 people that voted no.
Yes.
And so if one of them chooses to write a minority report, then it's on the consent, it's on the regular calendar. If you choose not to, it's on the consent calendar, and we can give you like a few minutes to think about it. But
Yes, Representative Tebow?
Madam Chair, I would just like to say that I would prefer that this go on consent, so I'd ask my colleagues who also voted in the negative to respect that if they'd like.
Well, that's why I'm asking if they do want to write a minority report. No?
Doesn't it look a little funny to have a 4-vote?
It happens.
I don't know. I don't think it should.
All right, Representative Schmidt is objecting to consent. I see that no one is planning to write a minority report. Is that correct? Okay.
But we can still have a voice vote on the thing. no matter
Exactly. Okay,
respect
so
for-
this will go on the regular calendar, and no minority report. Representative Reeves?
May we defer to the bill sponsor on whether or not he wants a floor fight on this?
He has said he doesn't want it to be, in fact, he asked for it to be on consent.
Okay,
correct?
so 12-4 regardless, there was support for Representative Tebow's bill, but I don't see bringing this to the floor for a floor battle with a discussion, debate, when the bill sponsor doesn't want that.
Okay, then in that case, it's a, Representative Schmidt has said it should not be on consent, and therefore it will not be on consent.
4 votes is too many to have on consent.
Either way, you're objecting, Representative Pearson's concerned, yes, Representative Tebow.
Would it be possible for me to change my vote at this point?
No, at this
You could,
point, it
you
doesn't
could do a
matter.
motion to reconsider.
Will,
It will just come up, it'll get voted on, there won't be any floor fight. We'll all look up Daniel Webster's portrait on the House floor and remember him
Yeah.
one more time.
I think if we don't plan to argue it, we can leave it on the regular calendar and just,
It'll come up.
if that's,
That's not too much to do for Daniel Webster. one
yeah,
more
that's,
time.
Madam Chair, I think we're ready to move on.
thank you. All right, we are moving on to the last bill we have, which is House Bill 610. And I have an amendment that incorporates the Office of the Consumer Advocate in the Department of Energy for your consideration. But after rereading this, I'm going to move to retain.
Second.
Okay.
My apologies, I did not hear you.
I move to retain House Bill
Retain.
610. And the current consumer advocate obviously has a lot of supporters, but I was concerned that the utilities that he's supposed to be representing consumers against were all supporting him. That struck me as something a little weird. I was also concerned that the chair of the Science and Energy Committee was concerned that the scope of the consumer advocate's activities was either not properly defined in statute or he was working outside of the scope and he thought that that needed to be fixed. That's not our wheelhouse, really. We don't deal with him. We don't know what he does. But I have a lot of concerns about this. And so I suggested retaining it so that we can find out what's going on. The hearing was a very well orchestrated evidence of support. But like I said, I was concerned that the utilities weren't saying, God, this office is a nuisance. They bother us. They keep us from making our proper and appropriate profits. But they didn't say that. They said he's a good guy and he works hard. I mean, that's, I was concerned. So I think we ought to at least hold on to it for a little while and say, is the consumer advocate doing the right thing? And is not even a barely administratively attached to the Department of Energy the right location in the state structure for it? And that's my point. Representative Land, you wish to speak to it?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I agree. I think that one of the things that I always look for is making sure that somebody's fighting for the little guy. And the fact that the people who the Office of the Consumer Advocate is supposed to stand up for the little guy against were supporting the continuation of the office, which just has me concerned. I think that if we retain this, we can just sort of look and make sure that they do have the tools that they need in order to make sure that they're representing the residential rate holders. And I think it's important to retain this just because right now we're facing some pretty high energy costs and we need to make sure that either the consumer advocate's doing what they need to do and determine whether it's an effective job and if they need other tools or if it's simply something that's necessary to continue with.
Anyone else have a comment? Representative Saitek.
It is possible for both teams to respect the umpire.
Thank you.
Or opposite.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Representative Schmidt?
It can't do any harm to look at this a little bit more. That's all you're asking to do.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, the motion is to retain House Bill 610, and the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Chairman Leon.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Pearson.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
Aye.
Representative Osborne.
Yes.
Representative Sellers.
Yes.
Representative Slotchie.
Yes.
Representative Tebow.
Yes.
Representative Groda.
Yes.
Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Yes.
Representative Dargy.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Representative DeVries.
Yes.
Representative Long.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes.
16-0 to retain.
Okay, this will not be on any calendar, as is the case of all motions to retain. All right, that is our last bill. Thank you all for working through this. Everyone, your committee reports are due at your very earliest convenience, no later than Monday. And have a nice week off next week, because we will not be having any committee action. All right.
When will the Senate bills start coming over?
Not right away. I talked to Senator Pearl about it. All right. Thank you all and good day.